Hi, in this lesson we're learning about designing your course curriculum so you can finally get it done and do it in a way that actually helps your students learn. Hi, I'm Angel from Artsy Course Experts, and we help creative online course teachers with their tech. In this lesson, we're going to go over designing your course curriculum. So that way you can get it done. And then also build out your course curriculum in such a way that actually helps out your students learn with the right sequences, good titles, and excellent teaching techniques. So let's get started. First of all, what is the curriculum? So the curriculum is the content that is taught in your course. It's the outline, it's all the content, the modules, the lessons, but it also includes the strategies and resources that you as the teacher provide. So that's the curriculum. You're going to use the curriculum to sell your course. You might show it on your sales page. You might highlight key modules as features and benefits. You're going to leverage your course curriculum not only to sell, but also to pull in and attract the right type of student customers. As you're building out your curriculum, one of the things we need to really clarify is the difference between modules and lessons. So think of modules as the high level buckets that contain lessons. So in your course, depending on the course type, you might have 5 modules or 10 modules, and each of those modules is going to have a bunch of lessons inside of it. I just want to clarify that modules are the containers and lessons are the items within each module. Let's start off by thinking about your overall course plan. So we're about to create your course curriculum. Let's get a couple of things in order before you dig into the individual lessons. So at the high level, you should have some notes of your North Star. What is the working title of your course? What is the marketing one-liner? And then you're going to really dig into who is this for? Who is this not for? So again, that's going to help you at a very high level, meta level, figure out what is this course about for real and who is it for? And finally, what's the transformation? So after this course, they're going to learn some things. They might learn marketing for fashion designers. So what is it that you're going to teach? At what level? Next up is the type of course. So let's think about breadth versus depth. So how many modules are you going to have in your course? Are you going to have 20 modules? Are you going to have 3 big modules? And then each of those modules, how many lessons are going to be inside of each one? Are you talking about hours worth in each lesson or 5 lessons per module? 5 10-minute lessons, 5 15-minute lessons. So you need to figure that out. And then also really know the type of course that you're going after. Is it a mini course, a free course, a spotlight course, a workshop course where in an hour and a half they're going to learn a bunch of valuable skills? Or are you really trying to do a master class, almost like a certification or a mini degree in a particular topic? Knowing that breadth and depth and the type of course you're going after is going to help you figure out, I'm aiming for about X modules, and each module is going to have about Y lessons. And then you can start laying out your course and chunking at the right level of granularity. And of course, as you lay out your curriculum, you're going to have some stuff at the top and at the bottom, right? So you're going to have an introduction, and that's where you're going to have topics like an overview, a teacher bio, how to take the course. Should they go from beginning to end at their own pace? Can they hop around and pogo around? So whenever they need something, they could come back to your course and go jump on that topic. So can they take it out of order? Any dependencies that they might have. So do they need a sewing machine? Do they need access to Adobe Photoshop? Do they need a mixing board for audio? So what are the dependencies that they are going to need? And maybe at what stage, maybe are there substitutes? So you're going to let your students know all these kinds of things in the very beginning, as well as maybe give them a survey. And the survey is something like, hey, what are you expecting to learn? Why did you take this course? And then later, at the end of the course, you're going to give them another survey. Hey, what did you learn? What was missing? How do you feel about your transformation? So you'll use that survey not only for those individual student and reviews and make them feel good about what they've learned, but also those surveys are rich in keywords to help you with your sales pages. And it's using the words that your students use, which is great instead of just marketing mumbo jumbo. At the end of the course, you're going to have a proper wrap up, which will include the survey we just talked about, but you're going to summarize. You might give them an end of course quiz. You're going to celebrate with them. Hey, you did it. Congratulations. Now you got to do this, this, and these other thing. And you're set to go do your next step of your life. You might offer them bonuses at the end and even next steps. So you, as their master teacher, are going to recommend what's next. Maybe it's another course at the next level, or maybe it's joining your community or coaching, or a wide range of things, but you're going to kind of set them off on a great trajectory after taking your course. So that's sort of the outer course container, if you will. So now, as you're developing your curriculum, you're going to start really identifying what are the main modules I want and what's in them and all that sort of stuff. So let's dig into that. So first of all, you're going to identify the main modules that you're going to try to list. Maybe you do this in a Google Doc or in a spreadsheet. Some people do it with a bunch of Post-it notes just to kind of brainstorm and lay it all out. So the sorting is the next big step. That's where you're going to sequence your buckets. You're going to know what are the main modules, in what order should I be providing them and teaching them that makes sense. In some cases, teachers may want to teach from bottom up, and they're going to have the foundation. Some people like to teach ad hoc, buffet style. So there's just a bunch of knowledge and you're just going to learn a bunch of things. So imagine a Photoshop course where you're learning the paint bucket, then you're learning how to draw lines, then you're drawing text. Yeah, sure, they can kind of appear out of order, but based on your industry, you're going to know best about the right sequence of these modules. As you're identifying these modules, you're going to start to give them good name, and they're going to be meaningful, and the titles are going to be the right size, not too short, not too long. You're going to figure out title case, because again, once you have this curriculum, not only will it help what to teach, but also that's going to become your marketing content for later. Next up is the description. For each of the modules, you should give it a description. What is the goal? What's included? So you may use these descriptions again in marketing, or you may just have it as a highlight when students click on a module, they see information about what's in it. Remember, the descriptions are also going to help orient your students. It's very important in teaching. Tell them what you're going to tell them, and then afterwards, tell them what you just told them, right? So the descriptions are going to help you identify what is that module about, get them oriented, and then also help you create the lessons. So you're just identifying the buckets first, and then once you give it a description, you're like, oh yeah, here are the 3-5 things I need to cover. And that's when you're going to go in there and really identify those lessons. For each of your modules, you're also going to have teachers' notes. How am I going to teach this? Why am I teaching this? You might have some doubts like, hey, should this come first? Should this come after? So you're going to document those in a note. So you'll have sort of the module names and the right order. You'll have a description of what it's for, and that's kind of outward facing to your students and customers. And then you have sort of your inward notes for each module. And some of the other notes that you might have would be camera setup. Are you going to use one camera, 2 cameras? Are they going to be looking at your face or looking at your hands? Maybe as you teach an instrument or teach art. What examples are you going to use in this module, and even any props? And then specifically for that module, you're going to figure out, are you going to have an intro? So you're going to teach them first. How many lessons are you going to have in this module? Earlier you figured out the breadth versus depth. So now you want to figure out, oh, for this particular module, how many lessons do I need to go over this topic? And you may want to try to standardize, like, I'm going to have 3 lessons or 5. But in some cases, you may have to vary it. This one's tricky. It's really a 7-step thing. Or I just wanted to hit this topic briefly, and there's only going to be 3 lessons. At the end of each module, you might have a key takeaway. You might also have a quiz. It doesn't have to be a giant exam. It could be 3, 5, 10 questions. It could be multiple choice. Or you can even give them an assignment, like a little practice, like download this PDF and try to play this music, or download this PDF and try to recreate this using your quilting skills. And finally, some teachers like to group a lot of discussions by module. Instead of having one big chat room later, you can have the chats by modules. You don't want to do it by lesson because that might be too minuscule and you have a couple of comments and questions here and there. But by grouping your discussions and chat with the teacher by modules, that's a great medium level way to have questions and answers based on module topics instead of too finite at the lesson level or too high level at the course level, because the questions are going to be all over the place. And that's also when you might want to think about how you're structuring your community if you have one. So let's go over an example about how you would use potentially a spreadsheet to organize your course in form of modules, lessons, and then actually project management production. First of all, you're going to figure out your modules, right? So you're going to have a spreadsheet or a Google Doc. I like a bulleted list in the very beginning just to brainstorm. So you're going to have a couple of columns. What's the module name? What's the description? And my teacher notes. What am I going to do? Is the camera looking at me? Or what's the example I'm going to use? Oh, I'm going to use a ceramic vase. All those kinds of things. Those are the high level name, description, notes. You're going to sort that. At the top, you're going to have an introduction. So you're going to have your intro module. And at the bottom, you're going to have kind of a wrap up. And you'll figure those out and personalize them based on other courses and as you learn. But really that middle chunk is where you're going to start defining all your modules. Once you have your modules there, you might have, let's just say you have 10 modules. Great. Now you're going to dig in and start brainstorming on lessons. Or as you're researching modules, you might start, oh no, that's not a separate module. That's just a lesson, a child of this module. So in phase 2, that's when you're breaking out the lessons and you're going to start adding lessons to each of your buckets. And you'll want to lay it out in such a way that you can see the structure, you can see the modules, and you can see the children, the child lessons that are in the modules. If you need to, and you're using a spreadsheet, some people find it useful to collapse and group a bunch of rows so they could press a plus or a minus and see the 5 lessons in the group expand or collapse, and then you just see the module name as you're kind of zooming out and looking at your modules, and then you're zooming in and playing with your lessons. And then you're going to want to reorder the lessons within your module. Just like you've reordered the modules in the right sequence, you're going to want to reorder the lessons within each module. And finally, it's the production phase. So you have your course curriculum, but now you got to put this together. So you might want to have a bunch of columns with extra information. This is like project management information. So what type of thing is it? Is it a video, a piece of text, a survey, a PDF, a quiz? You're going to want to have a summary. So when you actually go to the course and you see, let's just say it is a video, below it you might have a couple of sentences to explain what this lesson's about. You're going to want to create those, and it takes a little bit of time, but that's another step. You may want to create slides for every single one of your lessons. So that's another thing that has to be done in different phases. You might need samples or props or even assignments. And so you have to go and create those. And if possible, try to leverage one prop or one example across that entire module. And that's going to help you also think about your modules or come back to that prior module where you built something and now you're going to do the next level. You're going to edit it, you're going to enhance it. And so you can reuse those props at different stages. Another project management thing you'll want is, did you record a video if you're using videos? And then finally, did you edit the video and add in the intro, the outro, cut out the ums and the ahs? And take those videos and upload them to your LMS like Kajabi, Thinkific, Teachable. Did you create them? Did you edit them? Did you upload them? Are they ready to go? Sometimes you upload them and they're not available for a little while because they got to get processed and encoded and the different bit rates and all those kinds of things. So it takes a minute. So not only do you upload it, but is it visible? Is it showing? And you should do a quick quality check, right? So that's another thing that you can add to your spreadsheet for your curriculum is quality. How's the audio? Maybe on a particular lesson, your shirt blocked your mic, or maybe the camera was a little off-centered. So these are all the different kinds of things that you'll want to do at that final production stage. Again, you're leveraging that high-level list, the spreadsheet. The spreadsheet helps you with the lessons. The spreadsheet then helps you with marketing material and project management so that you can get your course built out. So now you're a lot smarter on how to plan out your curriculum. Using a spreadsheet, you're going to work from the top with buckets, figure out those modules, get them in the right order, figure out the right depth and breadth, and then you're going to work those lessons. And then you put on your project manager hat or get your team to help you out and start project managing to get every single one of those buckets done. And if you need to, you can launch with just a handful of modules or a handful of lessons and come back in a phase 2 with additional modules and lessons. If you want to level up, one small thing I recommend is to just work from the outside in. Very simple. Bulleted list, what are my modules? And then take those modules and start filling them in. To learn more, check out the info and links in the notes. If you're loving this stuff, subscribe to keep leveling up your creative business. And if you need any tech help with your courses, community, or teacher website, visit www.rtcourseexperts.com. Thanks for hanging out. Let's stay in touch.